Good morning, traders. Today is Wednesday, March 9th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, well, I was actually running late getting set up this morning, so I haven't had a chance to peep the charts ahead of time. So I'm going to have to do my analysis in real time today. Going to have to think on me feet to keep you all posted on what could be going down here. All right, so if you recall yesterday, what I was talking about was first the breakout of balance that we had, 2 days ago. So let me just zoom in a hair here. So this area right here, that's a balancing area. And then this line you see right here is a downtrend in the market. So the breakout of this balance, breaking lower, led to excess. And you can see the excess was actually more so even than the size of the balancing area. Often it's about the same. So if you have this much that much balance, you'd expect that much excess. You know what I mean? But we ended up getting a very quick, very harsh push lower. So yesterday, as we opened here, I said what I suspected to happen was we're going to get stuck in this area back here, and we're going to rotate up and down. And then looky, what happened to us yesterday, right? We just rotated up and down inside this range. Well, now we're back up towards the top end of it. Let's get back to the profile. So obviously we haven't established a balancing area here. This is only 1 day of balance, but the overnight rotating around inside yesterday's range like this, they explored a little bit lower. But staying inside of yesterday's range like this is a second indicator that the market might need to balance for a little bit. And I know that's frustrating because we're right on the bottom end of a balance area. You're like, Charles, we spent a whole week bouncing around and all we get is one big push. That's it. Sometimes that's all you get. That's all the excess the market needed. So this morning, my assumption is that we are either going to try to break out to the upside, get back into this previous balancing area, which would give us a trade to target the opposite end of balance up at 43.82. So what I will be watching there is yesterday's high. If we can get above yesterday's high, come back down and find support, that is 42.75. If we can get above yesterday's high, come back down and find support, that to me is a good long trade to see if we can get up to the opposite end of balance from before this balance area, right? Or if that fails. So we have I think we have a little tiny gap. No gap. So anyway, but if we do come up to here and then we find resistance around yesterday's high, and then it starts to push lower, you can assume rotation, right? So you can assume a rotation back probably to wherever the POC is at that moment. And same thing with yesterday's low, okay? If you want to be super cautious, you could use the overnight low. But if the market trades down to here and it breaks yesterday's low, comes back up and finds resistance, I would definitely want to short that for continuation lower because of that larger downtrend that we have in the market going on right now. And same as up here, if it pulls below and then fails and starts to pull back up in the range, we target the POC. Okay? So we are opening inside yesterday's range. We would expect some chop. But like I said, yesterday's high is a potential breakout point. So if we chop around a little bit here, find support, and then we start heading higher, we could look for continuation above yesterday's high. So the first potential support to the downside is this node from the overnight between 42.44 and 42.35. Let's see if we find some buyers. It's also worth noting the overnight inventory is net long, so we would expect a counter auction to the downside. The first move being down, looking for support. And we can see those ticks are opening very, very high, so they'll need to pull back down towards the zero line and just chill a bit. If you have not, please smash that thumbs up button. Really helps to bring new people to the channel. That's the only way we can grow. We got no money for a marketing budget here. So we need you guys to tell YouTube that we're awesome so they send us people. Smash that like, subscribe, share, comment, dislike, whatever you can do. So just as part of the counter auction, we should need another push down into here. But it looks like we're bringing in buyers. So this could be good support. Let's keep an eye on it. One thing that's worth noting with the ticks, when you have this much overnight, like the overnight inventory is almost entirely long, and you open up this high above the positive 1,000 level, it likely will need to pull in a little bit. If it doesn't get to the zero line, if we find buyers, like if it pulls just down to like here, and then we start to find buyers, that is a very bullish thing to see. It normally needs to work its way back down to here. So if either it stays up here and price doesn't, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. So either it can, the bullish scenarios are it can pull back down to the zero line, but then price doesn't really move that much. It still kind of stays up there. That is bullish. Or like I said, if they fail to get to the zero line and bring in new buyers above there, that is bullish as well. And of course, that's what's happening here today. Only 86 contracts on the low. That slightly increases the odds that we will head back down there for one more push, looking for support. But same thing on the high. Chris Yee, good morning to you. Welcome. Diego is here. CCTV in the house. Alex, good morning to you. Or morning good, apparently. Chappie's Crips, Chris, Crypto. Howdy. Nor Auto Trader is with us. We got the Australians. We got the Norwegians. It's a straight up party up in here. David V, David Glass, Amir, welcome. Rev, greetings to you. Cyrus, hi. Caffeine, good morning to you. Steven is here. Good to see you. Boss man in the house. Captain, we're ready to take off. This is your captain speaking. We will need a little bit more rotation inside yesterday's range before we're ready to take off. Please fasten your seatbelts and remain seated. Slim Jim is here. Good morning to you. Design Knob, welcome. Dean back with us. Laser Eye, Laser High. J Trader, good morning to you. Boss Man Hulk smashed the like button. Be careful. I mean, don't break anything, you know. But yes, thank you. So here we go. This is one of those scenarios where the ticks are staying up here and the price is too, right? So there's somebody buying in here. Are they just short-term traders? Are they going to get, squeezed? Or will they bring in enough support to get us up to yesterday's high? Trading Donkey, bold of you to assume we want more people. Well, that's the nature of the beast, my friend. We got to grow or I'll stop show. Or showing up. I don't know. No clever phrase there. Got to get growth. Grow or die, as they say. Boss man, in terms of value, which value area holds more importance? The volume profile value area or the TPO value area? That is a great question. I had for a while, I had both of them on my chart. So I had the value area programmed on the TPOs to be based on TPOs and the one on the volume profile based on volume. I don't know if it's still like that. Yeah, it is. So you can see both on here. This is the value area based on volume. This is the value area based on time and price. And a lot of times they're pretty much in sync. They get like a little bit off from one another. I would say personally, I focus more on the TPO. But if you had told me you prefer the volume, I wouldn't care even a little bit. Makes perfect sense. Okay, bad taper on the low. Might need one more push down in here. Get some better taper. But they are certainly trying to find support. Phoenix, good morning to you. Philip is here. Good to see you. I'm going to murder this name, and I apologize. But Jagadish? Jagadish. Good morning, sir. Welcome. Nicholas, good to see you. Greg in the house. Greg, I'm in my second week as a member. Appreciate it more each day. Let's see how long I can keep that trend going. Bao Bao is here. Good morning to you. Thank you for the like. Design Knob 10 a.m. job opening quit reports, FYI. It's hard to imagine how little fundamental things like that are really playing into the market this day. I mean, of course, there's going to be algorithms and stuff that trade off it, but I would think the ruling reason, Jim Dalton has this term called the ruling reason, which is kind of like the big picture, like what is the main thing that the market is focusing on? And right now it feels like it is war and inflation. So I feel like some of the other financial news probably won't have the same kind of impact while everybody's so fearful about those two things. Hugo, good morning to you. Welcome. Trading Donkey, may we get into a trend trade and stay in it all day? Uh-oh, Donkey's looking to break out. He's looking to start pushing higher. Donkey says CPI is going to be lit. What do you mean by lit? Lots of volatility? Russell broke the previous day's high. That's good. They're taking some risk. That's a good sign. Oh my God. Ugh. The Russell is in a giant balancing area. Man, I haven't looked at this chart in a while. Oh, no, that's not it. Look at that. I mean, textbook. It's not quite as instant reversals as you get on the ES, but there is uncertainty in the low caps. Got swing traders picking each other's pockets there. Ukraine is ready for a diplomatic solution. Well, they're going to have to give away a chunk of Ukraine to make that happen. What a tough position to be in. Anyone in leadership in Ukraine right now? Do I hand over part of my free country to Russia to stop them from murdering my people? Very, very tough position. Oh, Donkey says he also said they will not trade a single inch of territory. Well, then, diplomacy won't work. You got to give a little to get a little. That's how it goes. Donkey, well, the market's expecting inflation to cool off, but I think we all know it's going to be a monster number. Yeah, I feel like on financial news lately, everyone's been talking about how the war is just going to make inflation worse. Greg, that's clever, actually. Geopolitical stop loss. You're right. Greg, I would expect lots of short covering, but I'm not seeing a big pop up at the open. Thoughts? Well, always when we open inside the previous day's range, we expect chop. And basically, what that means is the market is going to have to kind of dance around for a while before it makes a decision. So I have a feeling that, this is just chop. The market's trying to pick which way it wants to go today. Either this support breaks and we head lower, or it holds and we try to break out above yesterday's high. And they just haven't made up their minds yet. There's also, of course, door number 3, which is probably probability-wise the highest likelihood, which is just continued rotation, The market likes a balancing area when it's got uncertainty. Greg, maybe I hold too much long bias. Yeah, I mean it's not the long bias that's wrong, it's the timing. It's the expecting it to instantly happen. Sometimes you just got to give it a minute, as they say. Give them a chance. Jag was changing my short name, hence missed your answer on NQ. Request to please reply. Jag, can you phrase that differently? You just want me to take a look at NQ? I actually have not done that yet today. Yep, exactly the same as the ES. Man, they're overnight traded very, very similar. So lower high than yesterday, and this big node of volume, which is currently acting as support. So I would say the current low at 13,525. If that breaks, you're probably looking at some further downside continuation. I think that may have been the support. And it is not great taper. It's not terrible, but it's not great taper. So keep an eye on that low. If it starts to break, probably look for a little bit more of a pullback. The next support would be 13,475 ish. So, Jag, yeah, do we check NQ? Yeah, I just need to be reminded. I don't trade NQ, so I often forget to look at it. So just keep reminding me. Greg, the Russell got its pop. Yeah, that's important. I mean, that's the riskiest asset, so that's a little bit bullish to see. Alex, is that on? Oh yeah, he announced that yesterday. Actually, yeah, that President Biden's going to sign an executive order on crypto. I'm glad. We need it. Get some regulation so we can bring in the big boys. Okay, it does look like the NQ is about to break that low. And they're testing the zero line on the ticks for the Nasdaq. So if those ticks start to drift below the zero line, that is new sellers piling on there. And we can expect to push lower. And the ES is at the very bottom end of its support. Yeah, this doesn't really feel bearish to me. We might need to pull back a little bit, but it feels like we're pulling back to find buyers. It doesn't feel like we're getting like a liquidation. Boss man, so if you look at my internals chart, the six charts like this, the one that's in the middle on the bottom, it says tick Q. So that's just the stocks that are traded on the actual Nasdaq exchange. Whereas the one that just says tick over here on the left, that is the stocks that are trading on the NYSE exchange. They generally look very, very similar, but there's sometimes subtle little differences. So I tend to, if I'm thinking about the ES, I tend to pay attention to the NYSE ticks. And when I'm watching the NQ, I tend to pay attention to the Nasdaq ticks. Out of all my internals, this is the one I spend the most time focusing on right here. Greg, yesterday we had a big pop on what was a re-release piece of old news. Seems like lots of pent-up energy. I would use a different word than energy. I would use emotion. I would say people are very emotional. They are fearful. They are uncertain. And when people are in fear and they have uncertainty, they often make irrational decisions. Emotionality causes your brain to stop your higher thinking and go into fight or flight mode. So one little piece of news, and everybody panics. Or everybody gets super excited if it's a piece of news that relieves them of their fear for a moment. Oh my God, I feel better. I got to buy. Alex Gensler about to talk about crypto. Did you guys see his interview with Jon Stewart? It was pretty sad for him. Trading Donkey, lots of chatter yesterday on FinTwit about how retail is buying the hell out of this dip while hedge funds are unloading everything. Interesting. I mean, there's got to be some big money going long in this market to hold it up. But I could see that. I could see a little bit of this being retail. Donkey buyback, the pass through the open. It's an interesting play for sure. We found support. We had to work hard to find it too, but we found support. We have good taper. I don't love the 42 contracts, but I'm not going to get obsessed with it. And you're right. We'd have to really push through what will now act as resistance to get back above that opening price. And you could put your stop right below that node. You know what I mean? You could go long up here and use a nice tight stop. So it's certainly an interesting idea. As I said before, though, the real confirmation is getting above yesterday's high and then finding support. Internals doing a nice job of staying above the zero line, the tick staying above the zero line. Looking good in the neighborhood. Got a poor high here in the B period. We often get a push away from a poor high that has to find support to come back and repair it. But if they instantly repair it, meaning they get 2 ticks above that A, that is more bullish to see. There you go. So that is the slightly more bullish scenario. So just to start stacking these things up, this is how my brain works. It starts to put pieces together, right? We've got value higher. That's a little bit bullish. We had the overnight inventory was way net long, and we had barely any counter auction. That is bullish. We have good taper, broke through resistance. Now we're testing the overnight high and then yesterday's high. So far, all of these things are bullish. So let's see what happens with these tests. Can we get above the overnight? Can we get above yesterday? And then the ultimate test, can we find support? If so, going up. Ding, ding. But of course, if it fails, right back down to the POC from yesterday. Here's another trade, man, that's just beautiful on a potential breakout. If it pulls back down into this support, just getting in with a super tight stop below the halfback. That's another interesting long this morning. Very little risk. We now have a weak B period high. Weak because it's exactly the same as the overnight. So we need one more little push up to repair it. Phoenix hedge funds definitely unloading my baby shop. Yeah, boy, you got to feel bad for what's her name, Kathy Woods, who I love, by the way. Everyone's hating on her right now. It's so fucked up the way when her ETF was going up, people were praising her like she was a genius. And the second it goes down, everybody's like, this woman's an idiot. She doesn't know what she's doing. Like, Jesus Christ, people are so fickle. But But yeah, I feel so bad, man. All the sort of early stage companies are just getting just murdered daily. CCT, I have not. You got to learn to stop asking me about my trades, bro. But no, I have not taken a trade yet today. The first trade I've seen was the one I just mentioned. I always wait for a trade to come to me, and the first one that stood out was buying this with a very tight stop below halfback. But they haven't given me a chance. So I might have to wait to buy support on the retest of yesterday's high, which is fine by me. My focus is protecting my capital, not getting into a trade where I'm wrong and I lose money, more so than trying to grab every little chance to make a buck. David V. In terms of the counter, David, listen. Let me just take a moment here, David V, to say something. I like the way your brain works. You are figuring this stuff out. You are starting to make those connections. You're asking the right questions. So I like it. Do you look for extra signs before deciding whether it's likely to happen or not in terms of the counter auction? No, I always go into it. I mean, it depends how big the gap between the open and the close of the overnight was. So, like, obviously yesterday, the overnight opened here, closed here. I'm not thinking about a counter auction at all, right? But today, or last night, they opened down here, closed up here. Well, that's a huge, I mean, there's a lot of long inventory in there. So that, to me, I would instantly assume we're going to get a counter auction. And the nice thing about it is, if we don't, that becomes the data point, right? When what should happens doesn't. If we should have pulled back down and we didn't, well, then there's bulls, there's buyers. But yeah, it's basically based on how big it is, and there's no exactness to it. You just kind of get a sense over time, watching it over and over again. Jitten read on the Twitter sphere that today is the last day of Fed buying. We are on our own starting tomorrow. Is that true? Can anybody confirm that? Again, it's priced in already, but just curious. So the B period high is still weak and in need of repair. CCT, probably next week they change their minds and buy more. Well, not now. Not with inflation. Yeah, there must just be that nice round number, because it's weird that they had that one random big node there in the overnight, and we have that one random big node there in the exact level. Short-term traders putting their orders at exact locations. Boom. There you go. Repaired the high. That is bullish to see. So now we're going to test this support. There's the one Donkey just mentioned at 60, and then also the one just above the half back here, around 50. EHOP resistance at 42.75 and 42.82. Yes, sir. Resistance at yesterday's high. Resistance at the base of the single prints down. I would see it that way as well. And he's saying he'll short it. He's ready to short it. At this point, I'd rather long it up into that and take profits with, bullish momentum here. But both are great trades. All right, well, there's the confirmation of the support. So I am bullish. Looking to see if we can get to yesterday's high. Jitten, how wild is this price action past 3 days? Bruh. How wild is this price action past 3 months? But yes, it's been tricky lately. Donkey, I said brah. That's B-R-A-H. Okay? Again, wrong, wrong again. Not bruh, brah. If you're going to make fun of me, you got to technically get it correct. Bruv. That's a British term. Come on, bruv. I do not like the exactness of all this buying at 42.60. That is suspicious. Chit and love when British people say that I'm a simpleton. You're not a simpleton. We all love a British accent. It's a fun the way, especially the different types. It's a fun accent. Nunes, I bought 4260. You're the one. Bro, don't put all your contracts at one exact level. If you're going to buy 20,000 contracts, you got to ladder in. It's actually net short there. We've had more sellers than buyers. Alex, sucks when you lose internet. Bummer, bro. Not much has happened, though. Oh, good point, Donkey. It's terrifying if you lose it while you're in a trade. All right, well, I'm not liking this. This feels like it's resistance. And if these buyers who've been doing battle here at 4260, if they give up, we'll probably break through this support. So then we'd be looking for another pullback down towards the low. So at this point, I would say we really want to stay above halfback. If we get below there, I'm back to neutral. All because of these fuckers. Boss man, can pirates spot icebergs? No, I don't look at the like tier 2 type of stuff. So I only see them once they're in the chart, once they've actually traded. I'm not looking at them ahead of time. I'm only looking at the volume that has already exchanged hands. Alex, yep, ticks recovered. They look great, man. This market looks bullish. It wants to go. Okay, just pulled the POC up a little bit. Boom, more support. The buyers are there. I don't know why we're not taking off. All right, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to switch over to the private stream for Brigade members only. You're all welcome to join. It only costs $10. As far as what to expect today, mark that level 42.4950. That is half back, and that is probably the last support if we are going to get continuation to the upside. Otherwise, I expect if we break that, we're going to end up rotating, inside yesterday's range a little bit. But it feels like they want to go higher. So keep faith as long as we keep above halfback. And then, of course, there's going to be resistance at yesterday's high and, more importantly, at the single prints down. The base of the single prints down, 42.86. But if we can get through those resistances, we can get continuation higher as we're re-entering an old balance area. All right. And with that, I shall bid you all farewell. Wish you happy trading and lots of money. We'll see you tomorrow.